All right. Hey, at least we got a little bit of that taken care of. How you doing, folks? This is Captain Jack, and this is the Elite SuperFan Show, and we are prompt. Hey, don't worry about it. In fact, let me do this. Now everybody's where they're supposed to be because it said that I was Buffalo Fred and you were Captain Jack, and I know that people are saying that Captain Jack must have gotten a beard trim or whatnot, or definitely shaved. How you doing tonight there, Fred? Lots going on today, and sorry about all of the rigmarole, but we are here, and we're talking Elite Superfan Show, week 2 of not the premiere, but of the reboot. But how have you been doing this week? I know that you had a good day yesterday.
Yeah, actually, we had a good day Monday. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, and yesterday. Yeah, absolutely. As a Bills fan, it was a great day. Great Thursday night football matchup there. The Rams and the Patriots. And unfortunately, the Patriots were on the end of a losing game.
Oh, yeah. And I could just see the seething in the tongue-in-cheek with the unfortunately.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the Rams, they really took it to them. I mean, they had a game plan, and they were relentless. They chased Cam all over the field, and their running game, I thought the Patriots would have been the one with the better running game, but it turns out the Rams had a game plan coming out with a 2 tight end set, and they ran the ball all over them.
Yeah,
very impressive win.
Yeah, I was going to say now I've seen Cam Akers from Florida State because I'm down here in Florida, and I'm a Gator. But I do remember Cam Akers very well, and that was a hellacious pick. It looks like that they got rid of Todd Gurley over the offseason, and people were going to say, well, how that's going to affect their offense. But it looks like they've actually improved on offense, again, going out with that 2 tight end set and just run. But again, the Rams are predicated on the defense and winning through their defense. And that they definitely did that last night. I mean, I'll be honest. I watched about the first quarter and then I went to bed and, cause I didn't even do a show last night. I was tired. So I went to bed and I said, hey, make sure that everybody was here to watch the show that we had tonight. So I wasn't going to miss that, but let's get back though, again, to one other thing. And let me see if I got to see comments here. Hey, Jason Dean. See, I got to make sure on comments. I got to remember to go back and forth. How you doing there, Jason Dean? Good to see you as well. But let's go back to Monday because again, you had a great week at the start as well. Monday night for you.
Yeah, the Bills actually, they dismantled the 49ers. I mean, a lot of people were actually taking the 49ers to beat the Bills on Monday night, saying that they were the better team. But obviously from the get-go, the Bills looked a little bit sloppy. But for the most part, they controlled that game from the beginning right to the end. I mean, they actually probably could have put 50 points up on them. And I know that the 49ers are dealing with a lot of injuries this year, but the fact is that it's still a primetime game. You still got to go out, you got to produce, and the Bills exactly did that. And again, Josh Allen, another great performance by him under the spotlight. He got the Offensive Player of the Week again for the 3rd time. So again, the Bills are moving in the right direction. This time of year, this is what you want to see your team advance on all levels. And I think they did it Monday night: defense, special teams, and the offense.
Okay, well, before we get further into it, I want to make sure that we give our due fair shrift to our sponsors, and we'll start with you, Fred. You can go ahead and talk about them, and we'll go starting now.
Yeah, the first one that we have, you guys, your Soulmate football style socks. And these are not just any ordinary socks. These are very comfortable socks. And it's not just one team, but it's all NFL teams. So no matter if you like the Raiders or you like the Bills, the Steelers, the Bucks, whatever your team, Soul-Made Performance Socks, they can make your team socks. And I'm telling you, this time of year in upstate New York, we can't put as many pairs of socks on our feet as we can with the cold temperatures that we get up here. But hey, even in Florida, there's nothing wrong with sporting a little bit of your team socks. Unique opportunity. Pick up some Soul-Made Performance socks.
I was gonna say now I got to do 2 things. So first off, you don't like the Raiders. You love the Raiders.
Hey, the Raiders got the Greg Williams fired from the New York Jets, so I love the Raiders.
Yeah, well, I was going to say, what? Hey, don't talk about our possible new defensive coordinator this offseason. So don't worry about that. The
Just
second
don't bring
sponsor,
that zero blitz when you're in a prevent.
yeah, well, you know what? I personally think that was just ingratiating himself to Raider Nation for next year. He wouldn't do that.
Guess what? That does not surprise me with Greg Williams bringing an all-out blitz. So if anybody's saying that was the wrong call, no, that's called the Greg Williams call.
Yeah. Well, hey, trust me, I'd rather have Greg Williams for the majority of the game, except for a cover zero blitz, for any of this over Paul Gunther. But we'll get to that in another time. Our next sponsorship, mate.
Tosgo Toys. These are custom figures you can create for anybody, whether you're a super fan like Captain, or if you have a big fan that you would like to get them in their figurine created, they can create any figure made for you, whether it's a super fan or you're just a big fan of your team. So check them out. It's a must for all super fans and any NFL fan. They can do any team, anybody, replicate anything. Tosgo Toys. It's Tosgo Toys. I'm sorry. Get your figurine today. Perfect gifts, Christmas gifts.
There you go. And this is an example of one. They actually make me look pretty good. And I'll put this back up on my helmet. I got several of them around the screen. So if you look around, you see the Captain Jacks that look nice. Those are Tosco Toys. So there you go. Make sure you go get some for Christmas.
And then we have our seasonal sports for all your apparel, screen printing, and embroidery needs. They are actually the ones who are now creating the anti-bullying t-shirts for the Elite Superfans page and the group. So if you're looking for any hats, any t-shirts, anything embroidery, vinyl work, they do it all. And be sure to take a look at those new anti-bullying shirts. Our shirts will be in soon, so Captain and I will be promoting them on the show as well. Yeah,
and like I said, so you don't have to. I will be in silver and black otherwise. But you'll see that. But definitely look for the ESF anti-bullying shirts coming soon, and go get them from us. And one other one, which is Bocadillo. And again, Fred, you got this one, or I
didn't get the information on that. I'm sorry. It must be a new sponsor that we had just picked up.
Well, yeah, Bocadillos is one of our new sponsors, and I can guarantee you that, I can actually show you a product, okay, at least the beginnings of a product. If you look at the patch here, you see the cartoon design that's there. Bocadillos will make a cartoon design of you as a super fan, get it, again. Both Tosco and Bocadillos make you look a hell of a lot better than you are. And obviously, I use the Bocadillo design in order to put it onto my patch, but they will get with you and get your design out there. Make sure you go to Bocadillos, be part of the Bocadillo universe. I'll put that up later, so it's about ready to fall. But yeah, go to Bocadillos and get your stuff done. And two that I want to talk about as well is playerscongress.com. This is the Retired Players Congress. Be sure to go to them on the website. Remember, a lot of the players in the NFL of yesteryear, they didn't have these multi-million-dollar contracts. Okay, these guys were and I even had the T-shirt from last week. I actually folded it, so I should be throwing it up, but I'll get it for next week, getting it ready. But when football was football, go to their website. Support the players of old for playerscongress.com. The proceeds from their products go to players that, are, again, they don't have what these young guys make. In fact, I was just saying that I think Jabustus Walrus made more in one quarter than two players I know made in their entire lifetime. So be sure to go to playerscongress.com. And then the final sponsor is, again, Shoes for Kids. Jerry Robinson is the president of the board of directors. Shoes for Kids is looking for your support for underprivileged kids. Remember, if you have shoes that are lightly worn, lightly soiled, and they're not of use to you anymore, be sure to get with Shoes for Kids. They take shoes in good repair. They will put them out to people that will need them. So go to Shoes for Kids. And those are our sponsors, and we're good to go there. So, hey, we did that without a hitch. I told you I'd make the graphics a lot better from last week. You couldn't see them last week.
Baby steps.
So there you go. Hey, Jason Dean said I'm looking slim, so I like that. Jason Dean also says that he's in Pennsylvania, but Jason's going to be moving to Texas real soon. But hey, he definitely will get some socks anyway. So again, Jason, thank you for commenting. And I'm trying to look slim, but I kind of went off the wagon today. I had a McDonald's cheeseburger, but just one. I had
That's all you need. That's all you could eat of them.
Yeah, well. I was upset, and I had to scarf something. Anyway, getting back to football talk, and again, thanks to all of our sponsors. We were talking about the Thursday night game, and we were saying how again it was a great feeling for you as a Bills fan to watch the demise of the Patriot, and I loved I used the air quotes in the dynasty, okay, because that dynasty was started on a fumble. That wasn't a fumble, or that was a fumble. That wasn't called a fumble. It was the tuck, something I won't say next. So again, it didn't happen. But it's the Belichick, and I'm being kind to say the Belichick regime. He's without some quarterback, and I won't mention his name. But he's without some quarterback, but he does have a quarterback, Cam Newton. And I just was saying, and it's been a subject of what we're talking about. Cam Newton is not the MVP that he was a couple of years ago when he brought his team, the Panthers, to the Super Bowl. He's slipping. He's not he used to be able to bowl people over. He can't even do that anymore. We saw that when he tried to get that one last yard in Seattle earlier today, where if they get the touchdown, they win the game. They didn't, and so New England is not what it was. Okay, your thoughts, obviously, as a Bills fan, Fred, both on the demise of the Patriots. Is it just a 1-year thing? Are they sucking to get a better quarterback? Because actually, they've done themselves wrong, because they've actually improved this year. So they're going to have to probably trade up if they're going to want to get a good quarterback in the draft. Fred, your thoughts?
At first I wanted to believe that I didn't think they were, but this is Belichick. So you really can't take anything away from this guy. You don't know what he's thinking. I mean, does the NFL tank? Well, I mean, they kind of do. I mean, they're not going to come right outright and say with all the multi-million dollars that involved in the NFL that, hey, we're going to tank this year. But there are things that they can do to their team to make it look like they're trying to play, but in a sense, they're trying to tank. With this Cam Newton experience, I don't know if this experiment, rather, I could say, I'm not really sure if he kind of fits in with what McDaniels is trying to do up there. I don't think that this is a type of quarterback. And it could be that he's new to the system. Maybe they're going to give him another year, but who knows? Right now, I mean, he's scheduled to be a free agent, so an undrafted free agent, or rather a free agent. Unrestricted, my bad. Yes. So I don't know if they're going to give him another shot, because I mean, he's going to be right around $37 million to come in here to be the quarterback. Are they willing to pay this guy $31.5 million to be the quarterback? Is he worth that to you? Or are you willing to draft a younger quarterback and pay him less and let him develop into a pocket quarterback instead of a run and gun type quarterback? McDaniels' offense is really based on the dink and dunk passes like Brady had brought to them, throwing 10 yards down the field and then completing a 20-yarder and not really running out of the pocket. But the fact is that the Patriots have some issues up there. They have a stout defense that didn't show up. They have a stout running game that didn't show up. So you don't know what kind of team you're going to see week to week. And I don't know if it's Cam himself or if it's the system at this point.
Yeah, I said that remains to be seen. And before we go, and we're going to have a separate subject. We're talking about quarterbacks, free agent quarterbacks. We're going to come back to that, because the one other thing we're going to talk about before we talk about the free agent quarterbacks, and I want to bring some people on board with this as well, is you found out that some information about a Sunday night football game upcoming.
Yeah, actually, the Dallas Cowboys 49ers game that was scheduled for Sunday Night Football was actually flexed down to a 1 o'clock game. And in its place, they're going to have the New York Giants versus the Cleveland Browns. This is the first time that the Dallas Cowboys have ever had a Sunday night game flex since 2006. So this is another way of the NFL saying that, hey, Dallas, you're not good enough to be on prime time.
Yeah, and it's like, and no matter how much money Jerry Jones has, okay, it doesn't matter. If your team sucks, and Dallas certainly, well, actually, the entire NFC least is what I call it. They do all suck, but no matter how much money Jerry Jones has, if you're not going to be bringing in an audience, then there you go. And you and the champ saying, I believe Dallas is trying to tank just to move up and try and get Trevor Lawrence. They're too low. Dallas maybe, and we'll talk about Dallas doing that as well. But before we do that, we're going to talk about this Sunday night's game. And in order to do that, we have two super fans for this portion of the show. I'm going to bring one on screen right now. And again, we'll have you introduce yourself as well. And then I have another one that's on the phone. I hope he hasn't. Well, let me see. I'm looking. Yeah, he's been on, so he should still be there. So again, my Bill Superfan, go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
How you guys doing? It's Will Colon, aka Buffalo Will, host of Viva Los Bills on I-95 Sports Network every Thursday at 7:30, and on Viva Los Bills group page on Facebook. Also, follow us on YouTube. How you guys?
Yeah, I'm normally on YouTube as well, but we're doing this on Facebook, and I'll post it to YouTube. I'll do a post and I'll push it to YouTube off of my website. So hopefully, if you miss it, you miss it on Facebook. You can always go back and hit it up on YouTube. And my Steelers super fan, who has been gracious enough to join us, and again, apologies for him not being on screen, but I tell you. I would definitely love to have the young lady that's on the screen with him in his profile shot here, because he definitely looks a lot better than all of us combined. Steelers super fan, go ahead and introduce yourself, sir.
Right on, baby. This is Steel Man. Oh yeah.
All right. Before we get into the game on Sunday, and Will, I thought I met you in Nashville last year, right outside one of the bars when we were talking about Pancho Villa. I think that might have been you. No,
I've never gone to Nashville. The farthest I got to in Tennessee was Jackson. Jackson. So
okay.
I've never had the pleasure of meeting you, sir, until right now.
Well, hey, the pleasure's all mine, because again, I'm just an old dude. So. But yeah, I met quite a few of the Bills super fans there talking about Pancho, and again, may he rest in peace. Great guy that he was. Will, why don't you tell us a little bit about how you became Buffalo Will?
Everybody asked me how did I become a Bills fan. I live in New Jersey. I was born in the Bronx, New York, but I was a kid, and I used to love the snow, and I remember seeing the Bills, their logo, playing in the snow. And ever since then, I was like, all right, that's my team. I like that team, and followed them since.
So you got out of the Bronx without being either a Giants. Well, mostly Bronx is Giants, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
Split.
Yeah, it's a little flip. It depends where you go. I mean, yeah, it's up in the air. Usually all the Giant fans are older people, and the Jet fans, the crazy ones, are the younger ones. So they would it was split. So
okay, but you got out of there as a Bills fan. Well, good on you there. And Mike Steelman, sir, how are you doing? Anything you want to promote? And how did you become Mike Steelman?
I'll start with a little brief story. I'm a third-generation Steelman here. I'm from Pittsburgh. My father was a steel worker. My grandfather was a steel worker, and I work in the steel mills as an engineer, so I'm more of a technical guy in the steel mills. So actually, from a young age, I always liked the Steelers, and back then, we were winning Super Bowls. The Steelers in the 70s, and my grandfather and dad were big fans, so I basically became a fan myself, and my mom was actually lucky enough to work for the Steelers in the front office for Dan Rooney as their secretary. So I was a lucky guy at a young age. I had the tickets on the 50-yard line for the Steelers.
Nice.
I don't know how many years I've had season tickets since, so I've been a fan for quite some time.
All right. Well, again, thanks. I want to personally thank you both for being here. It was a little bit more last minute than we wanted, but we appreciate you guys stepping up and representing your team. Now, I'm going to be giving a coin toss. I did this last week, and we're going to do that with the ceremonial. Actually, it's a button toss. Okay. It's the Gruden, knock on wood if you're with me. Okay. This is heads. And obviously, tails, you can just see the back of the pen. Okay. So, Mike, because you don't have a camera, I'm going to let you call it because, again, we're going to feed for your portion. Call it.
I want some heads.
And, of course, it lands on its side. Well, I'm flipping it on my desk, so there are some obstacles there. Okay. Okay, it is heads. You guys can't trust me. I wouldn't jip a Bills fan on this. It came up heads. Mike, what I'm going to talk about here, or what you're going to talk about, is you're going to tell me why the Steelers, and I said that correctly, by the way, the Steelers.
That's acceptable. Yes, that's very.
Yes, it is, because I'm from Philly as a kid, and I know it's the Eagles and Steelers, so I know how to pronounce correctly. Why are the Steelers going to come and it's in Buffalo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why are the Steelers going to go to Buffalo after a tough loss to the Washington football team in an away game and beat the Buffalo Bills? On you, Shipmate. Why are we looking for a Steelers victory Sunday?
I'm thinking the Steelers going to win because we're going to finally start catching the damn ball. We got more drops than any team in the NFL. Okay, we lead the league in that, and by far, and in particular, last 2 weeks we really stunk. Okay, lots of drops. Okay, we're gonna finally catch that ball, or somebody's gonna get benched, and some of our players are gonna step up. Some of our young guys. Now Buffalo has one heck of a passing offense. So we're missing some quarterbacks. So we're going to need some guys to step it up. And I'm hoping Terrell Edmonds steps up. By the way, we got 3 Edmonds playing in that game. All 3 brothers. 1 Edmonds from Buffalo and 2 Edmonds from Pittsburgh. And
Nice.
I'm looking for a big play by Terrell Edmonds.
Okay. So and you don't have to call it, but do you have any notion as to what might describe? And again, I don't take final scores, but only if you want to say. I always go by the motto, "Just win, baby." As long as you got one more point on the board than they do. Is it going to be a tight game, close game, blowout? What are you looking at?
Well, it's definitely going to be a close game. That's for sure. I'm looking at. Right now, I believe the Buffalo Bills are favored by 2. Okay,
2.5.
And actually, I believe that. You know, we've had a lot of injuries. We're not playing our best last 2 weeks. I can see why we're not. They're favored by 2. So I'm going to pick the Steelers because I cannot possibly say the Steelers going to lose ever. Because I'll get run out of this town. So I'm going to say 27-24 Steelers.
Okay.
Yes, Steelers.
All right. Well, Will, you picked tails, and after the second bounce, but it actually, it didn't show up. Trust me, it showed up heads. Will, Buffalo has been on a tear this year. Okay, I think that, and I'm sure Fred will tell me. This is the second year in a row that you have you made your 9 wins?
Yes, second year in a row, and first time that we've done that since in 24 years.
Okay, well there you go. See, I pay attention. I pay attention when Fred talks. People think that I'm just all one-sided. No, Bills have been great this year, and they are obviously the class of the AFC East. I won't call it the least because again, there's some good teams there. Buffalo being one, and a team down in South Florida that's on your tail. But we'll get to that another time. Will, why will the Buffalo Bills beat Pittsburgh for the second straight week after Pittsburgh was undefeated, and now you're going to put that second loss on them?
Well, I'm hoping they learn from the Chargers game and don't run towards TJ Watt like they did to Nicky Bosa over there. They kept running his way. Hopefully they'll run away from him. I'm hoping the Bills get a run game going. We know they could pass the ball. The one good thing is, like he said, well, I think their middle linebacker and one of their outside corners, starting corners, is injured. So that might help us out. But we need to get the running game. I think this game might come down to whoever does not commit like the turnover. I mean, they're one of the best they are the number one defense, and in sacks as well. So Josh is going to be moving around. Hopefully our line can step up and block them. Our defense needs to stop their run. I think it's going to be a close game. He actually picked 27-24. I was thinking that in the Bills' favor, though. So I'm hoping. I mean, Pittsburgh. I think both teams match up well. They both have good wide receivers. Luckily, our receivers aren't leading the league in drops like they did last year. You know, Bills dropped so many passes on poor Allen. Everybody ripped Allen. So I'm just hoping they go in there. I think it's going to be a close game. Who stays, like the Bills have been bad with the penalties. Hopefully that doesn't happen. Whoever's, no turnovers. It's going to come down to the battle of the turnovers, and I think time management. Whoever could control that clock. We beat them last year, but that was with Rudolph, not Big Ben. It's a different guy back there.
Right, and
I'm still pissed about that. They knocked us out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's right. After the Bills actually clinched the playoff spot last year on Sunday Night Football against the Steelers.
Where they wrecked our tailgates, and then they beat us in the game.
And then the Steelers never did make the playoffs last year.
That's right. And the Bills were blasting the Steelers song during practice.
Renegade. They played Renegade, and they were celebrating, and they took it right to them right when they played that song in the fourth quarter. First thing Allen did was aired it out. He threw a 40-yard pass down the field to John Brown in the middle of the Renegade song. So the Steelers thought that was going to intimidate the Bills, but you had everyone on the sideline dancing and
waving the towel,
waving their jackets and everything else because
go into a bad history here, Let's forget the past. Let's look to the future. We're positive, guys. Come on.
Well, now the Bills also have a little bit of motivation going into this game. Mm-hmm. The fact is that the Bills just paid Ballin Brandon Bean a contract extension. The general manager has been locked up for another several years with Sean McDermott. So this is going to motivate this team as well, knowing that their general manager and their head coach are both locked up now. They're going to be with the Bills for the next couple years at least. So that's a huge thing for the Bills and the organization, and I can see them being motivated off that alone.
Mike?
Yeah. I say, actually, history has been worse for the Bills.
Wait a second, Mike. 1 second, Mike. Go ahead, Will. I'm sorry. You guys were walking on each other.
Sorry. I'm saying, actually, history has been worse for the Bills. In the whole series of 26 meetings, Steelers lead the way with 16 wins to our 10.
Yep.
And they've beat us twice out of the 3 times in the playoffs. So, it's finally changing in our favor. So history was worse with us.
Okay, Mike, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead and start.
Well, honestly, I can't hate Buffalo because I love the Buffalo wings.
Vincent said, play the Renegade again.
Yeah, it's going to be a 27-24, and Terrell Edmonds is going to get pick 6. That's going to seal it for the Steelers. I'm predicting it.
Okay. Well, while I got you guys on here again, and we were talking about quarterbacks, and again, Buffalo and Will, you guys are set with Josh Allen at quarterback, and again, that was a godsend to you because again, you were looking for one prior to that, and I'm gonna let you go into. Obviously, you don't have to worry about your quarterbacks, but there are some teams that are kind of looking around for it, and Mike, I'm definitely going to get with you on this because again, you look around. Miami has finally solved their quarterback problem, at least in theory, with Tua. But then again, Tua hasn't been broken in half this year because, that's one thing. And again, not that I wish anything unless the Raiders were playing them. But that's a joke. I'm sorry. But the Bills have got Josh Allen, which has actually been I think actually probably the best quarterback that they got from that draft. From that draft class. Josh Rosen didn't pan out. And there were other good quarterbacks taken, but Allen is definitely the kid that they thought he was going to be. So you guys are set. Now, Mike, you guys got Ben Roethlisberger, the ageless wonder, who came back and played, after that year off last year. He's played well this year. But what are you going to do when Ben retires? Because, again, Ben came out, if I'm not mistaken, and here's the other thing. Ben's still playing from that draft class, so that's good for you. But when is Ben going to retire, and who do you think is going to retire first? Is it Ben? Is it Drew Brees? Is it Phillip Rivers, or is it some guy who lives locally who I won't ever say his name because I despise him?
He's the Bucs quarterback. Yeah, how about that?
Okay.
Go ahead, Mike.
Hey, well, I'm not sure about Big Ben. I tell you what, the way he was holding his elbow last game, it has me concerned. It could be his last year. He could go 1 or 2 more years. But he's always played with bad knees. So, football's a pretty dangerous sport. I think we've been looking around for a quarterback. We just couldn't find him in the last few years. So, that quarterback's so valuable these days in the NFL. And you got to really have a stinky year to get a really high top draft choice. So, it's not going to be this year for us. So, I'm not sure. I'm hoping he could play at least 1 more year.
Well,
I would say he's game to game, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, and you don't necessarily need a first rounder because, again, that local guy was drafted in number 199.
7th round, yep.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Oh, no, he was drafted like 4th or 5th round, that local guy.
7th.
Yes. No, I don't think it was 7th.
6th round.
6th round.
Yeah.
Yeah, 199.
Doesn't matter. It's irrelevant.
Yeah, it's not when you have a dynasty on a fumble. Sorry.
It's a tough rule.
Mike, anything that you wanna add on your way out, and we definitely appreciate anything you want to promote. Please do.
Oh well, actually, I'd like to. This is strange for SuperFan, but my full-length feature film's coming out this May 2nd, 2021 is our red carpet premiere, so I thought I'd throw that plug in there.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of a big deal for me. And it's a superhero zombie dark comedy.
Okay.
Look for it. Steelman.
Steelman. Now, is that where the beautiful babe in your picture comes from?
She's in there. Yes, she's in there. And she is in my trailer that I posted on NFL Elite SuperFans.
Okay, well,
you see me eating sushi.
Ooh, well, you go ahead and give her a call and say that she can come on anytime. Trust me. Well, and I'll let you do that because if I get her phone number, she'd probably say I was stalking her. So I don't want to do that. I'll let you do that. But again, hey Mike, thank you for coming in here, shipmate. We appreciate you being here for sure.
All right, guys. Take care.
All right.
Thanks for coming.
Mike. All right. That was our super fan, Mike Steelman. Will, because you're on camera, you get the last dibsies as well. Anything you want to promote that before you kick you off screen?
Guys, check me out on Viva Los Bills every Thursday at 7:30. Again, on I-95 Sports Network. You can come check out our Viva Los Bills fan page. Fred always posts stuff on there, which is great. Twitter, follow us on Viva Los Bills, and YouTube. If you don't watch it live, pretty much like you guys, I end up posting it on YouTube afterwards. Again, if you can, subscribe to Viva Los Bills, and that's about it. Thanks for having me on, guys.
Yeah. All right. Well, we appreciate you, brother. Go ahead, Fred. I'm sorry.
No, I was just telling Will I appreciate it. I follow you guys. You guys do a great job. You and your cousin, the show you guys put together, a lot of knowledge, and you're upbeat. And if anybody doesn't get a chance, take a look at their show. These guys do a great job. Really, really knowledgeable, and they'll definitely get you pumped up for the weekend's games.
Thanks for the kind words. Thanks. That's about it.
All right. Hey, Will, thanks again, partner. We'll see you on other broadcasts. Hey, be sure to watch every time.
Thanks, Captain.
All right. Take care.
Take care.
All right. That was Will. And that is our stadium shot, which I got to go back to and make sure that we're back to our normal shot. Let's see if I can get it here. There we go.
We're back.
I'm pushing the boundaries on technology, but again, it's something that I can do. And busy guy, but we are again. We're talking with Buffalo, Fred, and you alluded to it. Obviously, the Thursday. You ended the week with the Monday night game, which was good. Good things. You started with the week well with the Thursday night game, and because you reminded me, I got the games here now, and I don't have the synopsis, so I'm just gonna go. I'm gonna go off my gut, So we'll see what we got. We're starting out with the 1 o'clock games. We got the Titans at the Jaguars. Your thoughts on that one before I chime in?
Well, I mean, the Titans right now, they are 6-1 against the Jags since 2017. So I think the Titans, after losing to the Browns, they're going to bounce back. And why not have an opponent like the Jaguars to get things right with your football team? So I see Tennessee handily running all over top of the Jags.
Yeah, I do as well. Like I said, the Titans got thumped in Tennessee by the Browns, and that was just a bad bunch of comeuppance. I think that the Titans are going to go into Jacksonville and just thump them to say that to try to reassert themselves. Because again, the Titans are not out of the playoffs. Jaguars are looking at the clock already, and I think they are the number 2 pick right now.
Right now, they're 1-11.
Right. Yeah. So they got the second pick because the Jets. I should say. The Raiders escaped New York with a win last week. So the Jaguars are still the second pick. Jets are number 1. But again, I see the Titans win it again. A local game here, and we have some folks. Actually, I've already talked to a bunch of my Vikings, Viking World Order friends. They're actually downtown at Brass Monkey. They said, "Hey, where are you?" And I'm like, "Dude, COVID, man, I can't get out of the house." But lots of Viking World Order here. We got the Vikings at the local football team. I hate saying their name. Say their name for me, Fred.
The Bucks?
Yes, there you go. Thank you. The Vikings are playing that team at 1 o'clock. Go ahead with yours because I know what I want to say.
Well, this game's kind of intriguing to watch because the Buccaneers they're only giving up 74.2 yards on the ground, which is the fewest in the NFL. But now you got Dalvin Cook coming to the town. And this guy, he has turned the Vikings around since he's joined and came back and he's healthy, got back with the team. The team has been winning. So this is going to be a big test for the Vikings against that defense, but it's going to be a fun game because the Vikings like to run Dalvin Cook, and you got 2 clashes coming together. Are they going to stop him, or is he going to run all over him? So it's going to be interesting. I kind of like the Vikings in this one.
Wow. I like the Vikings as far as because again, just like Ewan DeChamp was talking about, I don't like to say that guy's name. I hate saying the name of the team. I call them the Sucks, and that's being nice. Good fans. There are a few good fans here locally that I know, so I can't attest to that. So really, really good ones with my boy Big Nasty and Buck superfan John Blakey. So I know quite a few of them. But for VWO, man, the Vikings, and again, they're still in the playoff hunt. They barely escaped a win with the Jaguars last week. The Bucks are coming off a bye. Now, if the Bucks weren't coming off of a bye, I would say that maybe the Vikings have enough for them. The Bucks, and again, I'm being kind, saying that what their name is. I got to say that the games that they've lost to, they lost to the Saints twice, they lost to the Chiefs, they lost to the Bears. Okay, the Bears are the only really bad team that they lost to this year. Okay. So I got to say that the local Tampa boys, they win. I just see Tampa in a win there. Kansas City goes to Miami. A case of obviously the Dolphins are still fighting for their playoff lives. They're in right now. They are like, I believe they are the 7th seed, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes,
playoff wise right now. Kansas City going to town. I think. Well, I know who I'm rooting for, but I don't know who's going to win. Go, and you'll be surprised who I'm rooting for. Go ahead, Fred. You talk about it.
Kansas City has won 9 consecutive straight road games. It's the longest streak in the NFL right now. And they're on the road again, going down to take on a Miami defense that's been actually putting up points and actually been bailing out the offense of the Miami Dolphins. But you know what? This is a Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and Andy Reid. He's going to have them pumped up. They're going to be ready to play. It's going to be their 10th win on the road. I'm giving it to Kansas City big.
Okay. Surprisingly, and I know that this is hard for a Raider fan to say, I'm actually rooting for Kansas City in this game because the Kansas City is they're too far ahead in the AFC West where the Raiders can't catch them, and the Raiders have to contend with Miami for a playoff spot. So looking at it analytically, the more losses that Miami has helps out the Raiders overall. So, and again, the Raiders still have to play Miami later on this year. They play Indianapolis. We'll get to that. So it's one of those things where the Raiders have to keep their playoff intentions in mind. I think Kansas City wins. I think it's going to be closer than Fred thinks it's going to be a runaway. I think it's going to be closer. But again, Kansas City's been in some close games. It wouldn't surprise me if the Dolphins pull an upset, but I just don't see it.
No.
All right. Another 1 o'clock game is the Broncos going to Carolina to face the Panthers. The Panthers they're Jekyll and Hyde this year as well. But then again, so are the Broncos. The Broncos have a horrible record, but they're a better football team than people make them out to be. I think that the one loss that the Broncos had that was just horrific was obviously when they didn't have a quote unquote real quarterback in there a couple of weeks ago because of COVID. Now it's stupid that the way the NFL did that. I really think that the Broncos got hosed in that. Yep. Going into Carolina, Fred, your thoughts?
Well, I like this Denver team. I like Locke. I think that they're young. They got some pieces there that are in place. They're going to help this team down the road. Once they get healthy again, they got some defensive issues, and they're 5-1 all-time against the Carolina Panthers. And you know what? This is the kind of game that I can see the Denver Broncos taking care of business and getting the win down there.
Yeah, actually, I do too. I think the Broncos are going to go into Carolina. I mean, Panthers are without Christian. Okay. New tongue. Just bought it at Walmart. Christian McCaffrey is out again. And for all those folks that are pissed off about their fantasy league because McCaffrey's out, Josh Jacobs is out, all these people that people were counting on for fantasy are out. I think the Broncos win. By the way, folks, I want folks to know if you are watching right now, we are going to turn the phone lines on at the end. So make sure that you stay in here. You can do your comments. We are looking at comments, obviously, but we will put the phone line on later on so you can call in about your team, about what you want to talk about. Just bear with us on after this segment. Three more 1 o'clock games we got. We got the Texans at the Bears. I mean, there's so much going on in that, the Texans and the Bears, two teams that obviously are just looking to January to start making their golf plans. Fred?
Yeah, I mean, you look at these two teams, and both of them are going in different directions. I mean, actually, the same directions. I mean, Houston had a lot of issues at the beginning. They lost their head coach. They lost their general manager. Now they're starting to win some games. They're still got some issues on the offensive side with Fuller being gone for the rest of the year. And then you look at Chicago, you don't know who they're going to have at quarterback. You know that they got Montgomery down there who's running the ball, and he's helping keep the offense in place. So I think the Chicago Bears are going to continue their way of, making a spot and they're looking to get in the wild card spot, and they're probably going to get the win down there against Houston.
Yeah, you think the Bears going to beat Houston, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know. If the Texans come out and play like they played on, they played a decent game on Thanksgiving, but they played good games. I just don't know what team to expect.
They played the Lions.
Yeah. Well, but I actually picked the Lions and the Cowboys on Thanksgiving because those are the teams that you normally don't lose on Thanksgiving. Just because, again, I must have been smoking something, and no, I don't smoke something. But I think that the Texans. I'm going to call for an upset here. I'm going to call the Texans winning in Chicago.
See it.
Okay, the Cardinals are playing at New York, or actually in Jersey, against the Giants. The Cardinals need this a lot more in order to keep their playoff hopes alive. Obviously, the Giants, it's basically between the Giants and the Washington football team as far as who's going to win the NFC least. Who you got in this one, Fred?
I mean, you got to look at this Giants defense. I mean, they handled Seattle, and they held them to 5 points. They were after Russell Wilson the whole game right from the beginning, and they were just razzing him, chasing him around. And then all of a sudden, they come out with McCoy. He puts up 2 touchdown passes, and they end up winning the game, which I don't think anybody expected. Now the Giants are in the driver's seat to win the NFC East. Could they do the same thing against the Cardinals? Because the Cardinals have lost 4 of their last 5 games. So they, too, have some issues going on there. And if the Giants can continue with that defense that they got and keep Murray in check, the Giants could probably pull this out and probably get their 6th win of the year. So I'm going to pick the Giants.
Yeah, before this year, I didn't really have any problems with the Giants, but there's some other things that have gone on this year where I personally can't stand the Giants now. I don't know whether the Giants just made. I mean, their defense really is that good because again, they took care of Russell Wilson. The Cardinals, man, I want the Cardinals to win. I think the Giants will win, but again, it's it kind of grieves me that the getting their 6th win. I mean, like we're really happy about that. It's going to be a tight game though. I think that I'll call the Giants in a win there. This game also is like the battle of who cares. The last of the 1:00 games, we got Dallas visiting Cincinnati, and we'll also talk about, like I said, we're going to talk about the quarterback situation. That'll be the one thing we get folks to call in on as well. The Cowboys playing Cincinnati. Andy Dalton goes back to his own stomping grounds. I mean that's the premier thing about this game. Dallas looked okay the last time out. Cincinnati doesn't really have a team, especially because when Joe Burrow went out, they're not as bad as they appear. I think they're like I think they have the 3rd pick right now, I mean they're awful, but there's got to be some pride coming out eventually for Cincinnati. Who you got in this one?
Well, I mean, like you said, it's Andy Dalton's homecoming, so he's going to be motivated in front of that home crowd to show that look, you got rid of me, I still got it. So I mean, he's going to be there to make a statement. I think the Cowboys are going to be all over the Bengals. I think the Cowboys are going to win big down there. That Bengals team, they're banged up too, and they're still a young team. And guess what? Dallas really needs to get a win. They need to get some pride back, especially getting knocked off from Sunday Night Football. So I see the Cowboys in this one.
Okay, I'm gonna hold that one game until the last of the 4:00 games. At 4:05, the Jets visit the Seahawks. Oh my God! I mean, the Seahawks are pissed that they lost to the Giants. Then they host the Jets team that, by all intents and purposes, should have won their first game last week, and I said that. But I think that it's going to be an easy Seahawks win. I don't care how motivated the Jets are. I mean, obviously, we'll see how their defense responds with a new coordinator. But I think it's going to be too much Russell Wilson. I don't think the Seahawks are going to lose to a New York team twice in a row. What say you, Fred?
No, absolutely not. I mean, you know that Seattle's probably not happy that they lost to the Giants, and not even the fact that they lost to the Giants, but the fact how they lost. I mean, they were up 5-0, and then they just crumbled. The New York Jets, you're right. How is this team going to perform? Now that Greg Williams not there, now you have a different DC in there taking things over. It's still going to be on Adam Gase ultimately, but I just don't think this Jets has enough for Seattle, and Seattle's definitely going to be motivated. There's no way that Pete Carroll is going to let this team have a letdown again back-to-back weeks. There's no way. I got Seattle all day.
All right, the Lions are hosting the Packers. The Lions with a nice win last week, but it's Green Bay in Detroit. If I'm not mistaken, didn't Aaron Rodgers have one of those super duper comebacks at the very end on like a Monday night game or a Sunday night game where he threw it and it was in Detroit? I know that was one of the highlights of the thing. I don't think it's going to take, until the last second of the game for him to pull out a victory. What say you about the Packers Lions?
Well, the Packers right now, you look at them and they're in the number 2 seed. They're still has a chance of getting the number 1 seed in the NFC. So I think that they're going to come out, they're going to handle business against the Lions, and they're going to get their 10th win of the year, and they're going to get closer to those New Orleans Saints.
Yeah, I think it's going to be too much Green Bay. In a battle of stinkers, the Chargers are hosting the Falcons. The Falcons have come on of late, but again, we're just when they had a couple wins going in their belt for their new interim coach Raheem Morris, they go to Los Angeles to face a Chargers team where Anthony Lynn. I'm surprised that Anthony Lynn still has a job. What say you about the Falcons going out to Los Angeles?
Well, this is a battle of two quarterbacks that are ranked in the top 10 in passing yards in games. So, I mean, I definitely gonna see some offense between these two teams. And like you said, with Anthony Lynn, I know he's a great guy, but the problem with the Chargers has been those guys and clock management and managing games. It just seems like he's mismanaging these games, and that's why they're losing a lot of close games, because they're not being able to finish it. So now you have an opportunity, but you also got an Atlanta defense now that's starting to play better. So this game is kind of going to be a coin flip. But if I had to guess, based on the Chargers record and how they played this year, I'm going to say that Ryan's going to get the better of them and Atlanta will get a win.
Yeah, that, like I said, the Chargers are they're a lot better than their record indicate. I know I keep saying that for like both Denver and Los Angeles, and there's other teams. Even the Falcons, their record is better than or they're a team that's better than their record indicates. I think that maybe the writing might be on the wall for Anthony Lynn. I think that maybe the Chargers want to win one for the Gipper per se before he goes out. I'll take Los Angeles in a win this week. You got the Niners hosting the Washington football team in Arizona, I believe, if they're still playing there.
Yes, Arizona. They will be playing down in Glendale, in Arizona. Yes.
Okay, so it's I mean, not that it's a home game for anybody, but the Niners, wow, they're playing another home game, not even at home. Because of COVID, you got the Washington football team, who pretty soon will probably let us know what their real name's going to be for next year. Maybe so. Again, Washington coming off a great big victory over the Steelers against the Niners team that just got outclassed recently. Fred?
Yeah, and you look at this Washington team, they got a young running back, they got a young wide receiver, and they got Alex Smith, who's making a comeback in the NFL. And everybody likes to have that story in the NFL where you have that injury, and he sustained a major injury. He had several surgeries on the knee. There was a chance that he wasn't going to play ever again because of the infections in the leg. And now he goes out there and he knocks off the #1 team in the NFL last week. This team is flying high. Rivera's got them pumped up. I think the Washington Redskins are going to continue winning again. And because you're going up against a 49ers team, and we've seen them get dismantled on Monday night against the Bills. And I know they got several injuries. They got some playmakers, but I think it's going to be too much. I think Washington's going to carry over the Pittsburgh game and continue winning.
No, I agree as well. I think Washington wins rather handily. The second to the last of the 4 o'clock games, you have the #1 seed in the NFC, the New Orleans Saints, going up to Philadelphia to playing a bird team, which is probably, or if I'm not mistaken, is Hurts is going to be the starting quarterback for the Eagles. And I tell you what, with the Saints defense as good as it is, I think that Hurts is going to be hurting by the end of the game. What say you, Fred?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're giving this young quarterback an opportunity for his first start, but look at this juggernaut that you're throwing out in front of him. It's not only the New Orleans Saints offense that you have to worry about, it's the defense. The defense is playing well. They're keeping them in games, and the offense is still producing. Even without Drew Brees, he's not 100%. He is close to returning, and he will be returning soon, but right now it's still Hill that's running the show, and they're still putting up chunk yards. They're still making plays. It's going to continue. New Orleans Saints all day. Probably big over the Eagles.
Yeah, and we got Ewan the champ in here again, our Saints fan. I tell you what, Peyton's definitely looking at whatever tape he has, whether Hurts was playing at Bama or at Oklahoma or wherever. So at least you'll know what he's got. He's a very dynamic quarterback, but I mean, if you know what Kyler Murray can do, if you know what Jackson can do, with the running quarterback, but you also got to look at tape to maybe a vintage Cam Newton, because Hurts is a bigger kid. So you're going to have a homage of, a big guy that can run around, but I think it's going to be too much New Orleans in Philadelphia. The last of the 4 o'clock games, and yes, I held this out for last for obvious reasons. You have the Indianapolis Colts going into Las Vegas. I would catch myself if I said Oakland, but it's going to be the very first time that Phillip Rivers plays a game with the Raiders, not in San Diego, not in Los Angeles, not in Oakland, but in Las Vegas. So again, there's a lot of history there with Phillip Rivers against the Raiders, and Phillip was good in the earlier portion of his career. I think that he was like 16-10. If I saw the stat today, he's won the majority of those games against the Raiders, but he's also known to throw the pick six that is needed. Talking about pick sixes with the Colts last year, the Raiders went into Indianapolis and Jacoby Brissett threw a pick at the very end, which sealed the Raiders' deal. This is going to be a very good game, basically, and I hate saying it, especially if the Raiders come out on the bad end of this. Whoever loses this game is going to be on the outside looking in for a playoff spot. What say you?
Well, here's the thing. You got two teams that should have lost last week, basically. Okay, Deshaun Jackson, Deshaun, he ends up fumbling the ball as time was expiring as they were going in to take the lead of that game. And then we know what happened with the Jets and the Raiders. The blitz and Derek Carr finds a wide open receiver. They go ahead and score. So both of these teams should have lost last week, but for some reason they found a way and they won. It's going to be different though this week with these two teams. And you look at this Raiders team; they've scored 30 points the last 4 out of 5 games. So they're putting up points. Is that enough for the Colts to keep pace with them? I don't know if it's enough. I think that the Raiders score more than 30. And the Colts can't keep up. I don't think that Phillip Rivers is going to have a game against these guys. I think it's going to be all Carr, and I think that they're going to be playing with the emotion after pulling out that win against the Jets when they knew they were supposed to lose that game. So I'm going to give this one to the Raiders.
No, I'm hoping you're right, partner. I tell you, the Colts have a very good defense, and that's actually the portion of their team that's been working this year. It hasn't been the offense. So hopefully the Raiders can definitely outscore them. The Sunday night game, which we already went over, obviously with our SuperFans, Steelers at the Bills. Your pick on that there, Fred?
Well, I mean, you do know that the Pittsburgh Steelers are probably not happy that they lost to the Washington Redskins. They knew that they're probably going to lose sooner or later. I mean, because it's inevitable, but the way that they were playing the last couple of weeks, they weren't really producing. They're still scoring 17 points and under the last couple of games. They were dropping passes left and right. It was bound and determined to happen. Did I want it against the Redskins? No, I would rather have seen the Bills knock them off and drop them from their undefeated season on Sunday night in Buffalo. But here's the thing is that people don't realize is that this Bills team is still not getting the credit that they deserve. And the thing is that our running game is on pace now. The defense is starting to pick up. And the offense, Josh is commanding this offense, and he's taking what the defense has given him, and he's picking these defenses apart. He's not doing it with his legs anymore. He's doing it with his arm. He's got the receivers. He's got the players around him right now. So this is going to be a good game. I'm not saying the Bills are going to go in there and just roll over the Pittsburgh Steelers, but the Steelers definitely have some problems on that defensive side of the ball. They got some injuries now that are popping up. They got some players that will not be available for this game. And for some reason, Roethlisberger is not on the same page with these wide receivers. Even though they're young, they're not on the same page. So I can see this going either way. Bills are favored at 2.5, which is really a home field advantage. And I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers winning this 2.5. Do I want the Bills to win? Absolutely. But it's in the football god's hands.
Okay, well, that's a good way of saying I think we're going to win, but I'm not going to pick it because that's my team. I like that. That's cool. The Monday night game is the Ravens at Cleveland. Now, at the very first game of the year, if I'm not mistaken, the Ravens played the Browns, and it was in Baltimore, and the Ravens blitzed them incessantly. It was a horrific game. I know that they got boat raced. I can't remember what the exact score was, but it was way, way, way too many points for the Ravens, and like maybe a field goal, if not maybe I think it was a field goal that the Browns had that first game. They got schwacked. But this time it's in Cleveland. It's cold weather. It's mid-December. The Ravens are looking good now that Jackson is back. I think that they've gotten their COVID issues underway. I know who I like, but what do you see in this game there, Fred?
Well, I mean, you look at these two teams. There's two top rushing teams in the NFL right now that are going to go at it head-to-head. You want some running, you're going to see running out of these two teams. And the fact is Lamar Jackson's healthy now. He's back there. Most of their players are back there now. So if we saw a true Cleveland Browns team last week pop up, is that going to be the same team that's going to come and take on these Ravens? And these Ravens, who actually almost had an opportunity to beat the Pittsburgh Steelers with like third stringers a couple weeks ago, are they finally healthy enough now to get back on the way that they were running the league? I think that you're going to see the Ravens come in and they're going to handle their own business. I know Cleveland's going to give them a fight. I think the Ravens have too much on offense, and I think the Ravens are going to take this one.
I think so too. I think it's going to be a tight game, though. It's not going to be a boat race like it was before.
No,
but I like Baltimore in this game as well. And I want to make sure, again, if you are watching right now, and hopefully you land that champ is still with us, we're going to be talking about free agent quarterbacks because we kind of alluded to it in the opening as well, where you have a bunch of quarterbacks that are out there, and it's going to be a quarterback intensive off season. Now, let me throw some banners up. So if you want to call in, please do 813-699-0834. But Fred and I are going to kick it off here as well. Carson Wentz has got a huge contract with the Eagles. That they're basically tied to it, but I think that they're going to do everything in their power to either get rid of the contract or anything like that, or somebody's going to buy off on it. They'll take the hit because again, Carson Wentz ain't what he was. You have issues in Chicago where Nick Foles is hurt. Trubisky is there obviously wasn't their quarterback because they picked up Foles. You have Taysom Hill in New Orleans, who's played well, and Jameis Winston, who can't get on the field. That's an indictment of Jameis Winston. I can't remember if Winston's on a one-year deal or not, but he's going to be free eventually. You have other quarterbacks that are going to be looking. You got Jimmy Garoppolo in San Francisco, who is obviously making too much money. And I don't think the 49ers are going to, he's going to be gone. I really can't see Jimmy Garoppolo being there. You got a brewing quarterback situation. I'm not sure if Aaron Rodgers is on the last portion of his contract or not, but this is his FU tour after they went out and they got a quarterback in the draft last year. Yep. The Colts have gotten Phillip Rivers, and he's definitely not going to be their quarterback next year. Who wants to come into Indianapolis and take over a decent team that's on the upswing?
Both of them are free agents too.
With the Giants, I'm sorry, I'm just rattling off here, but there's a lot of quarterback issues. Obviously, we talked about New England. New England wants a quarterback as well. There are very few teams that are set at quarterbacks. Jacksonville is probably going to be looking for a quarterback as well. What are your thoughts on any of these teams there, Fred? And remember, if you'd like to call in, please do. This is an open conversation, 813-699-0834. Fred?
The first thing quarterback that pops up to my mind is Dak Prescott. He was on pace to make $37 million a year. The Dallas Cowboys with the injury, are they going to pay this kid? Or are they going to let him walk? Because right now he's a free agent. And then you have Cam Newton. Again, we talked on him, $31 million for the year. He's a free agent as well. You have a list of them. Phillip Rivers and Jacoby Brissett, both of them with the Colts. Both of them are free agents as well. Are you going to pay one of them? Or are you going to pay both of them? And then you look down the list. You got A.J. McCarron. You got Andy Dalton for the Dallas Cowboys. He was on a one-year contract. So he's available as well. Then you got Nathan Peterman. Matt Barkley for the Bills is a free agent this year. Brian Hoyer, Josh McCown, Mike Glennon, Jameson Winston you talked about, Matt Schaub, and Robert Griffin III. He's also a free agent, but we've seen what he did with the Ravens when Lamar was down. So then you have Ryan Fitzpatrick. Are the Miami Dolphins going to finally let him walk because they got Tua, or are they going to keep him on because they really haven't been consistent with who's their starting quarterback? They start Tua, and then they pull him in the game, put Ryan Fitzpatrick in there, and then they start Ryan Fitzpatrick and vice versa. So it's almost like they have a small quarterback issue or controversy, but it's not. But they're not saying if that is. And then you got Mitchell Trubisky, and what's he going to happen with him? We've seen that Foles came in there and made some noise, and Foles got hurt. Trubisky's the guy again. So again, you have many quarterbacks around this league. And there's going to be teams out there that are willing to throw money at some of these quarterbacks. But the biggest one I'd have to question is Dak Prescott. Does Jerry pay this kid? Or does he wait for him to come back and see how healthy he is first?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was trying to check messages and I got the old video up. But yeah, I think Dak Prescott is probably going to tell the Cowboys that they can pack sand. Because he's a very good quarterback, and he's a lot better than a lot of the free agents that you were talking about that are going to be available. And I think that Jerry's not going to pony up. I think that the Cowboys are going to take a look at maybe one of these quarterbacks in the draft. Maybe it's Fields, maybe it's Lawrence. I can see the Dallas wanting to go up. And they're going to have to go up to number 1 or number 2 to get the quarterback that they want because they don't suck enough. And, Andy Dalton is not their answer long term. So you got a lot of it's going to be a carousel. Marcus Mariota is probably going to be gone as well from the Raiders as the backup. You were mentioning Peterman, and, I even see the Raiders drafting a quarterback this next year that will eventually be the heir apparent to Derek Carr. But, there's going to be a lot of changes in the league. And, it's just a matter of who is going to be coaching the Jets. Because if the Jets maintain that first pick and they want to get Lawrence is already on record saying he doesn't want to go to New York, but that's because Gase is there. It all depends upon who's going to be that coach there. And again, if you want to call in, please do. We would love to hear from you. 813-699-0834, 813-699-0834. We'll let it open for a little bit. Hopefully we'll get some people to call in. I'm looking at comments to see who was here. Yolanda Champ, hopefully is in here. Bonnie Clemens was in here earlier as well. Vince Mejias, thank you for being here as well. and Jason Dean of the Raiders was in here. So we appreciate everybody that's here. If you're watching now, thank you. If you want to call in, please do. But I know that Fred probably wants to go to bed pretty soon as well. But no, any final words, Fred? And we do got a call. Thank you. 225. Who am I speaking to?
This is Yulin Deck Camp Pricing.
All right. Well, I will make sure that I got you on my phone, shipmate. I'm sorry I was screwing up your name, Yuland, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Okay. Well, I got you in here. Hopefully, my phone actually sees that you're here.
Okay.
I'm looking. Yeah, I got you from Louisiana, so you're here. Partner, what are your thoughts on the show for tonight? What's going on with you?
I'm loving the show, and I really love how Captain Jack refused to say his name, because that's how I feel about it. Because, he came out with some comments at the beginning of the season saying that he wanted to actually move to the NFC South to play New Orleans because he wants to beat up on Drew Brees twice a year, and we saw how that happened.
Oh, yeah.
But the comment I really want to talk about is I'm going to compare certain things to Drew Brees, because, Drew Brees, when he was at the Chargers, you saw what happened to him on that freak accident that had him almost end his career, and the Chargers gave up on him, and that was this year of contract negotiations. He signed a new contract, and they tend to let him go. We picked up, we gave him good money, and I think it was a steal because, he won a Super Bowl on that minimum contract, and no one really thought that he was going to be like that. But Dak Prescott, he has a foot injury. I don't think that no one is going to pay Dak Prescott that kind of money that he wants, and he hasn't proven himself yet. He's going to have to go. I think Gary's going to say, well, we're going to pay you little money, and if you do better, then we'll increase it. But no one's going to pay him that kind of money on an injury, and he hasn't proven if he's going to be up to that his potential that he was before he got hurt.
Yeah, and now what are your feelings about? Because I like Taysom Hill. I like what he brings to the game, and I me living here in Tampa, I got a chance to see. Let me eat a W for all of his stupidity of the things that because he's got all the ability. He's got $1 million arm, but like a nickel head. And the fact that Taysom Hill is running that offense, because obviously you got to be able to run an offense that is varied with Sean Payton, and Taysom Hill looks like he can do it. So you're saying that Drew Brees is probably going to be going to the Sunday Night Football, and then you're going to be riding with Taysom Hill, or did I misread you, or what are we talking about?
No, that is correct, because I do keep in touch with people who are close with the organization, and plus the Saints even put it out on the Saints page and a couple other pages in New Orleans. It was a while back that Drew Brees was offered a contract to be a host, and just last week it was confirmed that he inked the deal to sign with NBC Sunday Night Football to be one of the hosts. And so I truly believe that Tyson Hill is ready, because the years Tyson sat under Drew Brees and just sat there and learned and think in all that knowledge of what a quarterback really is. We got to give him some time. This is his first year, just like any other rookie quarterback that's thrown out there. So y'all look at Tyson as being, now you're a rookie. This is your first time starting. You have the keys to the ship. Just grow yourself into it now. And I think that they should stick with him because he knows the playbook. The fans like him, and of course, Thomas loves him, because now, if you notice, since Tyson has been under the at QB, his numbers have gone up tremendously now, and he's like, I'm loving it, because he's having 100-yard games now. So that is he's making all of the receivers happy. And of course, Alvin Kamara is the backup, although his numbers just went down. But that's kind of obvious because if Thomas is back, you have to throw the ball to him, and then Kamara is going to be that secondary check now. But I think that Tyson's going to do very well because, and every time Drew Brees went out last year, we haven't lost the game while Drew Brees is sat on the bench. So that says a whole lot about our team. No matter who is behind at quarterback, our team seems to gel together, and no matter what, it might not be pretty, but we pull out a win some kind of way.
Yeah, and again, I'm looking for obviously Nolans to win the NFC South. Obviously, I'm looking to see Nolans will probably be one of the top twos. Obviously you guys are top one right now. Looking at your schedule, you see that will be the top of the NFC coming out.
I did say that we were going to. I mean, way before the season started, I had predicted we were going to lose 3 games, and because I actually got them wrong, but I predicted Atlanta was going to lose 1 because no matter what the records are, we always win 1. We split the season with Atlanta, so I had Atlanta as a loss. But I hate to say this, I did predict Kansas City to be our 3rd loss, and that's it. But since our defense is a whole lot better than we projected before the season started, I think we're going to basically, I think it'll be a close game. I'm not going to say it's going to be a blowout because if you notice that Kansas City has also been coming from behind a lot.
Yeah.
And I think if our defense to stay there, pressure him, and try to contain him from running and doing his thing, I think it'll be a close game. I'm looking like 21-24 Saints. But, that's what I would love to see. But I did kind of start it as a loss, but I'm still 50-50. That's going to be, to me, as the remainder of the season goes, going to be our toughest game out there.
Okay, well, any final words on the way out there, Ewan? And thank you for calling in, by the way, as well.
Yeah, I just want to say that I love what you guys are doing. I'll be calling in and checking from you guys live. My name is Julian Price. I'm a Saints fan. I got my name, Who That Champ, from wrestling. I wear, if you look at the little picture I have, I wear an oversized Saints wrestling belt that I created that looks like the wrestlers belt that they wear from the WWE. And I put 2 and 2 together, put my wrestling and the Saints together, came up the way that champ. So I'll be following you guys and calling in and to the show as much as I can.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, partner. Get the word out to all your other Who-Dats down there, and hopefully we'll have some more folks calling in and watching too.
I will definitely get the word out, and I was actually going to share this page with on my page, also let everybody know about the show.
All right. Well, thank you there, partner. Appreciate you being here.
Okay, no problem.
All right. That was Newland Who-Dat champ Price from down in Louisiana. Good. And I can't wait to get back to it now. I know the Saints played the Raiders in Vegas this year, but hopefully I'll be kicking around for the next time that the Raiders go back to Nolans. And it would be because I always had fun. The one time I went there was Tom Cable's first game as the Raiders head coach, and the Raiders got their butts kicked. But the last time I was there was 2016, the very first game of the year, and the Raiders got that win that started them off on that great victory. So again, it's always good to go back to Nolans, and I enjoy being there. If you want to call in, please do. We got at least some more folks on the line. 813-699-0834. Fred, you think that New Orleans is going to be the number 1 seed as Ewan does?
Yeah, I can see it the way that they're going right now. It's going to be between them, and it's going to be between the Packers, but I could see them handling it right now. The fact is that Louisiana is a great place. I got friends down in New Iberia. I've been down there a couple of times, and it's great food, great people. Louisiana, they know how to party down there. But definitely can see the Saints, and this could be Drew Brees, hurrah, out the door, win a Super Bowl, and out the door he goes. but the way that this Saints defense is playing, they're not really getting the recognition that they should be getting it because of the offense that the Saints have. A lot of people look past that defense, but they definitely have a defense. They definitely have a running game. And now, obviously, they have some quarterbacks down there as well. So I can see the Saints winning, being the number 1 seed. They're holding it right now, so it's going to come down to them and the Packers. If they can hold off the Packers, they'll definitely be the number 1 seed. And we know now is that if the number 1 seed is the only one that's going to get that bye this year, you're not going to have the 2 seeds getting the bye. It's only going to be 1. So it's very important to get that number 1 seed.
Yeah, I agree. And again, that's why, that loss that the Steelers had was important as far as with the AFC. Obviously everybody was giving it to Kansas City, but until the Steelers lost, and I tell you, if Kansas City wins and the Steelers lose up in Buffalo, then there you go. Kansas City definitely has the number 1 seed in the AFC. Hopefully we'll get some more callers in here. We'll give it a little bit more. It's 11:45 for us folks on the East Coast. So we'll try to be here. If you guys call in, we will definitely be here. Number is there, 813-699-0834. We'll take your calls. We'll be here until at least 11 o'clock, but only if you call. Because I'm not, trust me, I can talk for 15 minutes, but Fred's always like, Jay, shut up. Okay. And I would much rather hear from you to have folks call in. The number's out there, 813-699-0834. It's a Friday night. And again, I was going back to, Viking World Order is down here in Tampa to play those Tampa Bay folks with that quarterback again, who I won't mention. I really think that's going to be a really good game. I will say this as well. If you like listening to the games, and maybe it's because I'm a Raiders fan and I always know that whoever is calling the game is definitely going to be a Raider hater. So I hate listening to whoever is on the broadcast on TV. I do a broadcast on the Apple app. It's called Colorcast. So for any Raider fan that's out there, make sure you go over to Colorcast. And if you feel like you can outdo the folks that are on TV, go to Colorcast if you're an Apple guy. And I'll be honest, I'm not an Apple guy. I actually had to buy an iPad in order to do this. So that's my giving up and to make sure I can do this. Go to the Colorcast app on Apple, look for games, and you could be the broadcaster. And if they like what you do, maybe you will be the headline broadcaster. But that's my one plug because we got nobody calling in, so I had to do that early.
But you know what? Hey, listen to those ESPN guys on Monday Night Football. I could have probably used you to listen to because I muted them several times because the way they were just talking about the Bills, like there was no hope at all for the Bills. Like the Bills were getting outclassed. Like they shouldn't even been on Monday Night Football the way they were talking until the Bills started winning. And then all of a sudden the tide changed, and so did their communication as far as the Bills went.
Yeah, and again, that's why we got people like Mark Schlereth and Trent Green.
Oh yeah,
and and when you get to a Sunday night broadcast with 2 renowned Raider haters and Al Michaels and Chris Collinsworth, who's just stupid anyway, definitely want to make sure that you're listening to the Colorcast app, and all the games are there. You have the capability to be the broadcaster for that game. If you want to listen to the Raider broadcast, check out my broadcast there on Colorcast. So make sure you're there. Why does you
play that over top of the television?
Well, yeah, you could watch and then listen to the broadcast. And what they are doing, and I tell people this as well, is obviously there's a little bit of a delay between what I'm getting on DirecTV and what's going out on the screen. So if you're getting the live broadcast, there's about a 7-second, maybe 10-second delay. But Colorcast is coming through with what's going on you will be able to sync up a lot easier. And trust me, if you can't freeze your TV for 7 seconds to listen to somebody who actually gives a crap and gives you a good broadcast, please do. So I say again, make sure you're listening to me on Colorcast for the Raider games. And I'll be picking up some other games as the year goes on. I'll probably do it next year too when it's post COVID-20, and I can actually enjoy watching a game and broadcasting. I think it'll be a great thing.
Sounds fun. Sounds a lot better than ESPN commentators.
Oh my God, yeah. and the Raiders play Thursday. I think I'll have to see if that's a CBS broadcast or a Fox broadcast.
Thursday is NFL Network.
Okay, but it's the NFL Network, but they have a Fox or a CBS crew.
Right.
So I trust me. This Thursday this next Thursday when the Raiders play, I will be in on the broadcast. I'm not even doing I'll do a pregame show on my YouTube channel. There's another plug for folks that want to talk sports like we're doing right now. I have shows on the Captain Jack. It's Captain Jack Rackham Levy over on YouTube. I do shows where I'm talking sports. Sunday night, it's the Ask Captain Jack show. That's after the games. The You Don't Know Jack About Sports show. Normally that's on Thursdays. I was beat this week, so I didn't do my normal Thursday show, but that's the You Don't Know Jack About Sports. That's on Thursday. Obviously, we're here on Friday nights with the Elite SuperFan show. I'm doing anything I can. I will be talking sports with you. And for Raider fans specifically, it's Firing a Broadsides on Tuesday night. That's a webcast / podcast that I do specifically about the Raider game that's coming up. And that's on every Tuesday. But there's opportunities to talk sports and football with me. Well, Fred, it looks like we've pretty much run out.
Yep.
But any final things that you want to talk about before we roll? Before you go on, you do your last, and we'll also do our hit up our sponsors one last time too.
Yeah, playoff football's coming around the corner, so this is when the NFL starts becoming real fun. So if your team's not in the playoffs, make sure you're following the playoffs because that's a very exciting time of year for football. I trust me, as a Bills fan, there were several years I've watched playoffs without the Bills being in there. So
you don't have to talk to me about watching playoff football without the Raiders being in there. All right. Well, one final hit for our sponsors.
Soulmade Football Socks, Pro Performance Socks. Any NFL team you need, they'll make them for you. And then your Tazco toys. These are custom figurines created for all the super fans and any fan of the NFL. Go ahead and have your little figurine created of yourself, personalized to you. And then our seasonal sports guys, be sure to go look at the page on Elite SuperFans page and in the group. The seasonal sports is creating the shirts, the anti-bullying shirts. So be sure to go on there. And any embroidery needs, any screen printing needs, and vinyl needs, reach out to Fred down at Seasonal Sports. They do a great job and they're very reasonably priced.
Boca Diaz is one of our newest sponsors again. They do cartoon likenesses of you as a super fan. So you get the pictures, you send it out to Boca Diaz. They do a fantastic job. Kind of like Tosco does with the toys. Boca Diaz will do it via graphics as well. PlayersCongress.com. This is an organization. Bob Grant is the president. Remember, support the players of old that weren't getting these multi-million-dollar contracts. They have elite uniforms as well as jackets and jerseys and a whole bunch of apparel. Go support PlayersCongress.com. You get a lot of great apparel there, and the proceeds go right to support them. And then finally, ShoesForKids.com with my friend Jerry Robinson. They're looking obviously to put shoes on underprivileged kids. Make sure you go to that ShoesForKids.com. Lightly soiled, lightly used shoes you can send to them, and they will make sure that gets out to kids that need it. And that's at ShoesForKids.com. And Fred, again, thanks for being here this week. It's always a pleasure. And we'll do our out, and we'll see you all next Friday night as well. Make sure you're pushing this up to everybody, and so we'll be able to see you next time as well.